So what is it you want to talk about in the Savage Nation today? 855-400-7282. Before we go to your calls on the program, and I have many good ones, we have to go to the University of Wisconsin lecturer, a black lecturer, who told the class in 2010 that the election of 2010 was about white rage. And he was recorded by a student. The student was then admonished by the corrupt administration at the University of Wisconsin, who has now changed the rules that if any student records any lecture, they can be thrown out of college, because that's the liberal way, which is to make sure that, well, you get the picture. In other words, anything corrupt is liberal. So now let's listen to clip number 13.
The context of 2010 was white rage. White people having to pay for health care, blacks and browns, gays, racism with the first black president. Like, you saw a bunch of American pie hatred just bubble up, where folks started voting against their own interests, where you had white, blue-collar males voting for Walker, even though Walker's policies are not for blue-collar white males.
Now, here's a black communist radical telling white males that they should vote the way he sees it. Now, he goes on and tries to bamboozle the students in clip 14, recorded by a student. Listen to this.
You guys saw your voter rights being attacked. Now, all of a sudden, your college IDs aren't enough. You need more IDs to vote, college students, because you're a liar. You're lying about living here and going to school here. That's what they said. But it's really because they didn't want college students to vote, because statistically, young college voters vote democratically. Okay, so then the black radical goes on further in 15. Now listen. All these things are happening. But what are we still talking about? Gay rights, women's rights, things to polarize people, things to feed into the sense of those deep, like I said, American values of division, racism, sexism, classism, and all the while rich folks, predominantly white, are making money off us. Meanwhile, Mrs. Obama's on a $30 million junket to China. Mr. Obama's on Air Force One on a junket around the world, and we're supposed to believe that he hangs with the people from the streets. Now, the utter hypocrisy and garbage that just came out of this professor's mouth is not unique. It occurs every second of every day that colleges are open for business. The only difference here is that a student recorded it and released it to the media. The student was punished and almost thrown off campus for exposing what hellholes these colleges have become under the administrations that are now wholly owned subsidiaries of the Democrat socialist machine. 855-400-7282. Don't call on that. Let's see. What calls do I want to take? Let's go to WABC in New York. Yuri, you've been waiting. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Thanks, Michael, for taking my call. Regarding corrupt actions, how about that couple of $100 million earmarked for just one segment of our populations? As you said, whites need not apply. Isn't this blatant discrimination?
Oh, you mean where Obama announced My Brother's Keeper a few weeks ago, and it was open only to blacks and Hispanics? Women and whites need not apply. Chinese need not apply. Japanese need not apply. You mean that kind of blatant corruption and racism of Obama?
Yes.
Well, I'm glad you actually know what's going on, Yuri. Thanks for being such a conscious voter. Now, again, I got to go back to my primary point. Let's say you're scanning the dial and you never heard me before. You say, oh, who is this guy? He can't be doing this. Why is he attacking this nice, honest president? Is he a racist? Well, let me tell you something. I ask myself every day, am I exaggerating Obama's lies, crimes, corruption, lying, and cronyism? Am I myself guilty of exaggeration? I don't think so. I check my facts, and you ought to check yours before you open your mouth and start slinging these racist words at people, because those who dealt them, my friends, are usually the one who dealt them. And those who use these phrases most, like racism, are usually the biggest racists on planet. And they use race as a weapon against society. Okay? WVNN. Will, welcome to the Savage Nation.
Hey, Dr. Savage. I was calling today. I was just reading. I have not seen it anywhere in major media about a mob of 50-plus black teenagers attacking a white woman and her 5 children, breaking their windows out in their car with rocks and stoning the children in the car. And
there's unfortunately a mini-epidemic of black-on-white crime going on in America that the media is hushing up. Everyone knows that. who studies these events. It started after the Zimmerman trial, and it's escalated. It's gone up and down since then. It's on a low boil right now, and let's pray to God it stays on a low boil. The thing I hope for, Will, is that when these kids are caught, they're not just given a slap on the wrist, but arrested on hate crimes charges. That would stop it faster than anything.